Have you ever stopped for a moment and asked yourself, why do I do what I do? Why do we make the choices we make, react the way we react, and pursue the goals we pursue? At first glance, it might seem like life is just happening to us, like we are swept along by circumstances, people, and events outside our control. But the truth is far more empowering and far more fascinating. Every decision, every habit, every action we take is driven by forces beneath the surface, forces that shape our reality in ways we often don't even realize. What if I told you that by understanding these forces, you could take control of your life, break free from old patterns, and create the results you truly desire? Today, we are going to explore the hidden reasons behind human behavior, the emotions that fuel us, the beliefs that guide us, the unconscious patterns that steer us, the goals that push us forward, the values that shape our priorities, and the power of emotional mastery that can transform everything. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand why you do what you do. You'll gain the clarity and tools to consciously choose your path, to act with purpose, and to unlock the extraordinary potential within you. So, I invite you to open your mind, pay close attention, and reflect deeply as we uncover the forces that drive every action, every choice, and every moment of your life. This is not just a talk. It's an opportunity to see yourself in a new light, to understand what moves you, and to take the first step toward becoming the person you are truly capable of being. Human behavior is fundamentally driven by emotion. Every choice we make, from the simplest daily decision to the most life-altering move, is influenced by the desire to seek pleasure or avoid pain. This is a principle that quietly governs our lives, often without us realizing it. When we examine our actions closely, we see that what motivates us is rarely logic alone. Even when we think we are acting rationally, our decisions are filtered through an emotional lens. For instance, we might choose a job because it promises financial security, recognition, or a sense of accomplishment, all of which bring emotional satisfaction. Similarly, we avoid situations, people, or experiences that we associate with discomfort, embarrassment, or fear. This underlying drive explains why some people can repeatedly make decisions that appear irrational from an outsider's perspective. They are not ignoring reason. They are responding to their internal emotional compass, which prioritizes certain outcomes over others. Our brains are wired to respond to pleasure and pain in a way that ensures survival. Historically, seeking pleasurable experiences like food, shelter, and social acceptance and avoiding threats like danger, pain, and rejection enhanced our ancestors' chances of survival. Though modern life has evolved dramatically, these primal emotional drivers remain active in our subconscious. They manifest not only in basic survival instincts, but also in complex social interactions, career choices, and personal relationships. Understanding this is crucial because it allows us to take a step back and observe our reactions rather than be controlled by them. When we recognize that fear, desire, frustration, or excitement is influencing our decisions, we gain the ability to choose consciously rather than react impulsively. This insight also explains why motivation is deeply personal. What brings joy or relief to one person may be irrelevant or even unpleasant to another. By becoming aware of the emotional forces that shape our actions, we can align our choices with long-term goals rather than short-term impulses. We can also cultivate empathy, understanding that others' actions are similarly guided by their emotional drivers. This principle serves as a foundation for self-awareness, personal growth, and effective communication. Recognizing that emotion is the engine behind human behavior provides clarity and insight into both ourselves and those around us, allowing us to navigate life with intention and purpose. Our beliefs shape the very core of who we are and profoundly influence every action we take. They are the invisible filters through which we interpret the world, the lenses that color our perception of ourselves, others, and life itself. From the moment we are born, we begin absorbing ideas, values, and assumptions from family, society, culture, and personal experiences. And over time, these beliefs become deeply ingrained. A belief is more than a thought. It is a conviction so powerful that it dictates how we respond to situations, how we treat people, and how we define what is possible or impossible. For example, Someone who believes they are naturally talented and capable will approach challenges with confidence and persistence, seeing obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. Conversely, someone who believes they are inadequate or destined to fail may avoid challenges, doubt their abilities, and unconsciously sabotage their own efforts. Beliefs are not always consciously chosen. Many operate beneath the surface of awareness, influencing behavior without us realizing it. These unconscious beliefs can act as invisible barriers, limiting potential and shaping habits in ways that may seem illogical from the outside. What we consistently tell ourselves about our worth, intelligence, resilience, or potential becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, affecting the opportunities we pursue and the outcomes we achieve. Changing beliefs, therefore, has the power to transform actions and ultimately life itself. By questioning old beliefs, replacing limiting ones with empowering alternatives, and consistently reinforcing them through thought, behavior, and experience, we can shift the trajectory of our lives. This process requires awareness, honesty, and deliberate effort, because deeply held beliefs are often emotionally charged and resistant to change. Understanding the role of beliefs also enhances empathy and insight into human behavior. People's actions, even when frustrating or confusing, are often rooted in their belief systems. Recognizing this allows us to respond with understanding rather than judgment, and to guide ourselves and others toward growth by gently challenging limiting beliefs. Beliefs shape not only what we do, but also how we perceive our reality. They define what we accept as truth, what we fear, and what we strive for. By becoming conscious of our beliefs and intentionally cultivating empowering ones, we gain the ability to align our actions with our highest goals and deepest values, unlocking potential that previously seemed unreachable and creating a life of greater fulfillment and purpose. Unconscious patterns influence almost every aspect of our daily lives, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and reactions without us even realizing it. From the moment we form habits, our brains begin creating neural pathways that make certain actions automatic, reducing the need for conscious effort. These patterns develop from repeated experiences, cultural conditioning, and early life influences, and over time they become ingrained in our identity. Many of the choices we think we make freely are actually the result of these unconscious programs guiding our decisions, often based on what has worked or been reinforced in the past. For instance, someone who grew up in an environment where conflict was avoided at all costs may automatically shy away from confrontation even when standing up for themselves is necessary. Similarly, someone accustomed to seeking approval may habitually prioritize others' opinions over their own values, following an invisible script learned over years. These unconscious patterns can provide stability and efficiency, allowing us to perform complex tasks without overthinking, but they can also limit our growth and keep us trapped in cycles that no longer serve us. Recognizing these patterns requires deep self-awareness and reflection, because by definition they operate below the surface of conscious thought. When we become aware of them, we gain the opportunity to interrupt old habits and replace them with new behaviors aligned with our goals and values. This process often involves observing recurring emotional triggers, examining our reactions, and asking why we respond in certain ways. Understanding that much of what we do is driven by these patterns can also foster self-compassion, as it helps us realize that mistakes or counterproductive behaviors are often the result of ingrained conditioning rather than personal failings. By consciously identifying and reprogramming these patterns, we reclaim control over our choices, allowing intention to guide action instead of unconscious habit. This approach enhances personal freedom, emotional resilience, and the ability to create consistent, positive change in life. The more we explore our internal landscape and uncover the automatic processes that govern behavior, the more empowered we become to make deliberate decisions, cultivate healthier habits, and design a life that reflects our conscious values and aspirations rather than the dictates of old, unconscious programming. Goals are one of the most powerful forces driving human behavior, providing direction, focus, and motivation for our actions. When we set a goal, we create a clear target for our energy, giving purpose to what might otherwise be a series of random or reactive choices. Goals act as a mental compass, guiding decisions, prioritizing actions, and helping us allocate resources effectively. Without goals, even the most talented or capable individuals can drift through life, expending effort in ways that do not lead to meaningful results. A goal transforms vague intentions into measurable outcomes, creating a framework for action that aligns with our deepest desires and aspirations. It gives us something to move toward, a vision that compels effort even in the face of challenges. The human brain responds strongly to clearly defined goals because they activate a sense of reward and anticipation. When we visualize achieving a goal, our mind generates excitement and motivation, stimulating behaviors that bring us closer to that desired outcome. Conversely, the absence of clear goals can lead to indecision, procrastination, and a lack of fulfillment because the brain has no target to focus on. Goals also create accountability, both internally and externally. They provide benchmarks for progress and moments of reflection, allowing us to evaluate whether our actions are effective or if adjustments are needed. Importantly, goals are not just about external achievements. They are deeply connected to personal growth, mastery, and fulfillment. They push us out of our comfort zones, encouraging learning, resilience, and the development of new skills. When goals are aligned with our values and passions, they become a source of sustained motivation, as the pursuit itself brings satisfaction and meaning. Additionally, the act of setting and pursuing goals fosters self-discipline and prioritization, teaching us to focus on what truly matters and ignore distractions that do not serve our long-term vision. By understanding the role goals play in guiding human behavior, we recognize that our actions are rarely random. They are part of a larger strategy, consciously or unconsciously crafted, aimed at attaining outcomes that satisfy our emotional, social, or practical needs. Clarity of purpose, combined with intentional action toward well-defined goals, transforms potential energy into tangible results, allowing individuals to create a life that reflects both their ambitions and their values in a consistent and meaningful way. Values are the internal compass that guide human behavior, determining what we prioritize, how we make decisions, and the standards by which we measure success and fulfillment. Every choice we make, whether large or small, is filtered through our core values, whether we are consciously aware of them or not. They are deeply ingrained beliefs about what is important in life, shaping not only our actions, but also our emotional responses to circumstances. When our actions align with our values, we experience a sense of satisfaction, integrity, and purpose. But when there is a misalignment, we feel frustration, stress, and inner conflict. For example, someone who values freedom highly may feel trapped or resentful in a rigid work environment, even if it offers financial security, because the experience conflicts with what they hold most important. Similarly, a person who places the highest value on relationships may sacrifice career advancement if it means neglecting family or friends. Values are unique to each individual, reflecting personal experiences, upbringing, culture, and personal reflection, and they are more powerful than external rewards or societal expectations in shaping behavior. Understanding your own values provides clarity when making choices and sets a foundation for consistent, intentional action. It allows you to prioritize opportunities, commitments, and relationships that are aligned with what truly matters to you, while letting go of pursuits that create unnecessary stress or distraction. Values also explain why people react differently to the same situation. What feels urgent, threatening, or motivating to one person may be irrelevant or unimportant to another, depending on their internal hierarchy of values. This insight fosters empathy, improving communication and relationships, because it reminds us that behavior is not arbitrary, but guided by deeply held principles. Recognizing and defining your values is not a one-time process. It evolves as you grow, learn, and gain life experience. By consciously identifying your core values and evaluating whether your actions reflect them, you gain a powerful tool for decision-making, goal-setting, and creating a life of alignment. Ultimately, values serve as a bridge between our inner beliefs and external actions, helping us live intentionally, make choices that resonate with our true selves, and cultivate a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and fulfilling. Emotional mastery is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our emotions in a way that allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Every human being experiences a wide range of emotions: fear, anger, joy, excitement, sadness, and frustration. And these emotions influence the decisions we make, the relationships we maintain, and the overall quality of our lives. Without control over our emotional state, even the most rational intentions can be derailed by sudden outbursts, poor judgment, or reactive behaviors. Emotional mastery does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending they do not exist. It means acknowledging them, understanding their origin, and consciously choosing how to act in response. Our emotions serve as signals, providing information about what we value, what we are afraid of, and where our attention is focused. By learning to interpret these signals accurately, we gain insight into our desires, motivations, and triggers, allowing us to make decisions that are aligned with our long-term goals rather than short-term impulses. Individuals who cultivate emotional mastery are better equipped to navigate stress, conflict, and uncertainty. They are able to pause in moments of tension, assess the situation objectively, and respond in a way that is deliberate and effective rather than reactive. This ability creates resilience, strengthens relationships, and enhances personal and professional success because people respond to challenges with clarity and composure. Emotional mastery also empowers self-awareness, as understanding the connection between emotions and behavior allows us to identify recurring patterns and triggers that may be holding us back. With practice, we can transform negative emotions into fuel for growth and positive action, turning setbacks into opportunities for learning and progress. Moreover, mastering emotions enhances empathy, allowing us to respond to others with understanding and patience instead of frustration or judgment. By taking responsibility for our internal state and choosing our responses, we reclaim control over our actions, freeing ourselves from the influence of external events or the behavior of others. Emotional mastery is a skill that can be developed over time through reflection, mindfulness, and intentional practice. It is a cornerstone of personal freedom and effectiveness, providing the foundation for a life in which we act with purpose, respond with clarity, and create outcomes that reflect our highest values and intentions. As we reflect on why we do what we do, it becomes clear that our actions are not random, but the result of powerful forces: our emotions, beliefs, unconscious patterns, goals, values, and our ability to master our responses. Each of these elements shapes our behavior, guides our decisions, and determines the trajectory of our lives. Understanding these forces gives us clarity and insight, allowing us to make conscious choices instead of being driven by habit, fear, or impulse. When we align our beliefs with our goals, act in accordance with our values, and cultivate emotional mastery, we unlock the potential to create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and extraordinary achievement. We realize that true power lies not in controlling the world around us, but in understanding ourselves, recognizing what drives us, and consciously choosing the actions that move us toward our highest aspirations. So, take this knowledge as a guide, a reminder, and a call to action. Observe your patterns, question your beliefs, clarify your values, and define your goals. Allow emotion to serve as a signal rather than a dictator. The path to mastery begins with awareness, and from awareness comes the freedom to shape your destiny. Every step you take with intention moves you closer to the life you are capable of creating, a life full of purpose, joy, and impact. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these ideas today. May you harness this understanding to make powerful, conscious choices in every aspect of your life. Good luck on your journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. Keep moving forward, remain aware, and remember that you have the ability to direct your actions, shape your future, and create the extraordinary life you deserve.